we're gonna start off with Tory Lanez footage here. Let me bring this up, and I wanna let y'all know up front. I will be blurting out some of this footage. This is a prison attack, and I want to be conscious of YouTube's guidelines and rules. So this is more so just a little bit of a background of what's happening, and you will get my reaction here, but I'm going to cover up some of the actual attack, people. All right. I got to play by the rules here. All right, let's check it out. All right. So here, all the way to the left now, that white suit there or that white shirt, that appears to be Tory Lanez. Not the person that just went down the stairs appears to have nothing to do with this. Okay, so it looks like he's just moving around normal. Somebody else comes up the stairs. Somebody walks past right here as if they're going into one of their cells. So it appears nothing has started just yet. And whatever this is, like in the middle top of the screen, that's blocking or in front of them a little bit, blocking some of the footage. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a mirror. Might be a mirror. That's not a camera. That looks like a mirror. So give police officers and guards and whatnot, the angles around the corners to be able to look up and see. You see how people put up, like if you walk through certain buildings and alleys or hallways, they'll put mirrors where the hallway turns so that you can see around the corner before you get to it. Kind of a protective measure. Okay. All right. Here's where it starts. Here's where the altercation starts right here, which appears to be right behind the mirror. What I'm going to do is I gotta blurt out some of this at this point, people. Okay. All right. Now let's get back to it. Yeah. And so he's on top of him at this point. I'm trying to describe it in the background for those that haven't seen it. He's on top of him, and what's happening is Tory Lanez he was totally surprised and caught off guard by this situation. But Tory Lanez is on his back. And what he's doing is he's pushing and he's kicking up. He's trying to bicycle kick his way up a lot to try to keep the guy from off of him. But the guy's standing on top of him. And now we see, we could have interpreted just from hearing when they posted the public statement that he was stabbed 14 times. So we could interpret how that happens, whether standing or on the ground. Either way, when you're moving that fast with a shank, boom, 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 just all over the place, just everywhere you could find a spot to swing. That's how you end up getting hit 14 times. And there's probably a lot of prison stabbing situations where people have gotten hit that many times, if not more, right? It's not, don't think of it like somebody's in there with a Rambo knife and all you need is one quick one, like to the stomach, and then you walk off, right? These guys have these little shanks sometimes, right? And it's just, it's the combination of all the strikes that they're trying to get to add up. If they catch a vital organ, if they can collapse your lung, if they can catch you in a jugular or an artery, very, very critical situations. And these happen all the time, unfortunately. But yeah, Tory is kicking up, trying to keep him off of him, but this guy is still raining down with just all the swipes at him. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, at this point, Tory got back to his feet. All right. Gets back to his feet. No, kind of getting off his knees a little bit. Yeah. And this is Tory Lanez shirtless. Now, right here that you see outside of my blur, that appears to be running down the stairs to get away from the attack. Okay. So you got to assume that that's the adrenaline. That's that's overall him just getting away or trying to run away. People sometimes get shot. People sometimes get stabbed, and they don't fall out or even die on in the midst of it, in the moment. Sometimes it's the bleeding effect. Sometimes it's the loss of blood that can make you faint. Sometimes it's the overall trauma. Adrenaline is in your body as self-preservation. It's a protective measure that God has given us in our body to use when we get into these critical situations. And we grow up flinching each other. And if you react or you jump or if your hand starts to shake or whatever, people laugh at you. It's a natural body chemical thing of the body's way to protect itself, right? You'll see sometimes people get shot, shot 3, 4, 5 times, and they still running around crazy. That adrenaline is keeping them moving. And then finally, maybe from too much trauma or from too much blood loss, then so Tory Lanez was able to get away, at least in the midst of this. But that stuff all added up, those attacks, and then as that sets in and the adrenaline calms down, I'm pretty sure that's where we start to see later on. He ended up getting airlifted to the hospital and everything, because at that point it's just like, all right, now, So luckily he was able to get away for a second, towards the end of that. But yeah, disturbing footage, very disturbing footage. I don't know how footage like that gets out. Like, I will always question that. Interrogation room footage, we know how that gets out. A lot of people, a lot of defendants sometimes can get the videos within their discovery, right? Like, my co-defendant was sitting in the box telling on me for a fucking hour, and my lawyer can go get that via discovery, and then I can find out, and then sometimes they put it out, right? You look at the hotel footage that first broke for Cassie and Diddy by CNN. How did they get it? I don't know. Sometimes there's even higher powers. Sometimes I feel like police will put things out to calm down what's going on outside. That could have been the case with King Von. I don't know if the club released that, right? But think about it. When King Von first was reported all across the internet that he was shot or he may have been killed the night before, the news was that the cops did it. He was killed by police. There was even police scan calls of like, hey, they were making calls in Chicago, even though the shooting was in Atlanta. They were making calls in Chicago saying, hey, surveillance unit ABC, just be careful if you're around, area, block, whatever, because King Von was just shot and it's tense outside right now. So people might start acting out towards the police. Later on, that footage comes out. It's like the cops didn't do that, so you never know all the different times why footage comes out. It could be sneaky. It could be the powers that be. It could be the actual people involved. You just never know. You never know. But the footage came out, and yeah, I had to blur it for y'all. If y'all want to go see it, more than just me reporting on it and giving y'all my reaction to it, just go to World Star or some shit, But yeah, I ain't doing all that extra stuff as far as playing it like that. There's probably some channels that's playing it. I'm gonna fall back on that.